Yeah, I got to believe when you look back at the brackets, you probably thought this game might be somewhere along the line, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you look at our schedule this year, Tom, and top to bottom, we play the best teams in Indiana. We played the best teams in Ohio. And I always said, Elder, Doug does such a good job. Coach Ramsey does such a good job with those kids. They play so hard. And you just in the back of your mind, you thought if we can continue to develop and get better, we know they're going to be there.
Well, you mentioned Doug. You guys are the old men in this league now, right? He's like the senior citizen. You're knocking on the door. I mean, you guys have really created a friendship over the years and just probably a mutual respect for each other and also both programs.
Well, I would hope so. I can't speak for Doug, but I know I have all the respect in the world for him. I think another deal was, our kids competed against each other. Peyton and Hayden grew up competing against each other, and you watch that. You want to see your kids, little of you and your kids. And, boy, they had some great battles. So, yeah, I think it's mutual, but I think it's also a mutual respect between the Elder community and the St. X community. We have a lot of crossover people. My brother's an Elder grad. I'm an X grad. So you've got a lot of crossover, but just a tremendous program. Elder does such a great job, and it's fun to play against them.
Well, last year they got you 28-24 in the postseason. Then you go over there this year and you're down 10-0 at the end of one, 17-10 early in the third, down 24-17 going to the fourth, and all of a sudden you rip off 3 touchdowns to close out 38-24. But isn't that kind of that type of games indicative of probably what you expect on Friday night?
Well, yeah. I think even if you look at last year's 2 games, we were down 21, come back in the fourth quarter and have a chance. And then in the playoffs, we had the ball on the 15-yard line with a chance to score. That's what these games are about. And if you're a high school football player, you want to play in these games. These are the kind, even though the atmosphere won't be, that was weird. Walking into the pit week 3 and looking around and thinking, I don't think I've ever seen this place empty, except at a JV or a freshman game, That was weird, and it's going to be the same way here Friday night because of the social distancing and the smaller crowds. But the competition, make no mistake, it's fierce. It's fun.
Now, you're a defensive guy, and I remember many years of St. X football, no knock, of kind of 3 yards in a cloud of dust and let's play defense. And somebody looks up and sees that 55 points in the last 3 quarters against St. Ignatius and then 42 in the first half each of the last 2 weeks. What's going on with this Bombers offense?
Well, I'm smart enough to know that I'm not very smart, so I surround myself with people that are a lot smarter than me. You and I have talked about that, Tom. Andrew Coverdale, called Andrew when we were making some changes offensively. I think he's arguably the best in the game at this level on the offensive side. And he came here, this is his second year, and you're starting to see what he does with offensive football teams. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's really difficult to prepare for. We see it every day in practice, which helps us get better defensively. But he's different, and I'm smart. Again, I'm smart enough to know, Tom, I got to change it. The 3 yards in a cloud of dust, I took enough heat from doing that for years and years. We decided to get a little exciting.
Now, defensively, though, Elder still will bring you the multiple sets and spread you out and do a lot of things that Doug does. And, wow, his son, Drew Ramsey, has really had a big year, and he's a terrific player.
Man, it's like, where's Waldo? He lines up everywhere, and you've got to account for him on every snap. Look, where's he? Is he in the backfield? Is he a quarterback? Is he flanked wide? Is he a slot receiver? He is everywhere, and they do some pretty creative things to get him the ball in different ways. So, yeah, you've got to account for Drew Ramsey and figure out, how do you contain him? You're never going to stop him. You got to figure out how to contain him.
Now, back in 2016, Sean Clifford really had an outstanding postseason, really took over and led you guys to a state title. His brother, Liam, having a pretty good year again as well. And any obviously different positions, but any similarities between those two guys?
Yeah, when you talk about competitive nature, absolutely. Two of the most competitive kids I've ever coached. Sean was, he was different from – he was more of a take charge leader. Jump on my back, I'm going to go. Liam just makes plays. He's kind of unassuming. I think he's the best wide receiver in the state of Ohio, and if not the best in the country. I'll throw that out there. I think he's a special talent. But they play two different positions, and Liam's thriving in his as a receiver. He's gotten better every year. Hopefully, we can ride a few more games here before we lose him to Penn State. But he's a special talent.
Ask about a couple guys on defense: Matthew Devine, Gabe Dubois, correct pronunciation? Dubois. Those guys have made some outstanding. I watched enough of you guys this year to see those guys all over the field making plays. Kind of a couple senior leaders for you on defense.
Oh, tremendous. Both of them. I tell Gabe every week he'll do something in a game, and I'll just shake my head. He's very football smart. His football IQ is off the charts. I think we play him in 4 or 5 different positions during a game because he can adapt and change, and we try to take advantage of his playmaking ability. And Matt Devine, I'll tell you what, throwback. You want to line when God created linebackers, He created them in the mold of Matthew Devine, who he recently committed to the Air Force Academy, and Gabe's on his way to Lafayette. 2 great schools for those guys as well. Proud of them. But yeah, they're difference makers. They're playmakers, high football IQ, bring great energy, and they've been tremendous leader. Along with Sean, both of those guys are captains, and our nose guard Gio Albanese.
Now, I know you're more than just an accomplished football coach. Now you're an author. So you've written The Fourth and Redemption, which is about the 2016 state championship team. More than that, it's about life's lessons learned from that season. So I'm thinking to myself driving over here, I'm like, well, if they make an extended run, I mean, they say with movies you got to be careful with sequels, right?
Yeah, the sequels.
Is there going to be a second edition here? I mean, are you taking notes? Are you talking into a tape recorder?
Tom, it took 4 years after the 16th season to write the book on Fourth and Redemption. I'm trying to get through today.
Well, aren't we all? Yes.
I want to see us get a little better today. That's about that.
And one final question. When you go to Skyline Chili, does Coach Specht have a go-to?
Oh, 3-way and a cheese coney, absolutely.